you have been taught to invest for the long term, buy dollar cost average in, and just hold it through downturns and market turmoil and crashes. And when the stock goes up through the roof, you're told, this is great, keep going. But the reality is, when markets extend themselves like they have in the last 2 years up until January of 2025, you get euphoric. It's going to go up forever. The market's great. CNBC says this will never end. Artificial intelligence is the thing. The housing market is fantastic. Everything is perfect until it isn't. And then they tell you, just stay in, just write it out, stay in for the long term. It's been going up for 100 years if you look at a long-term chart. The problem is you continue to age. You continue to get closer to your dreams and goals, such as retirement. And when you lose 4 or 5 years of progress, you still get older. You still get closer to that end goal of retirement. Those who were around during the great financial crisis know what I'm talking about. You hit the market, you did great, you bought homes, you bought equities, money was cheap, and then all of a sudden, they pulled the rug out from under you. And for what, year, 2 years, the market went down and you lost those gains and you were put in a hole. And then it took, on average, the buy and hold investor, I just buy the S&P investor, it took you 4 to 5 years just to get back to the surface, just to get back to where you were before it all blew up. In this video, I'm going to help you build a process. I'm going to show you a simple way to preserve your wealth and capital and preserve your dreams. In 2000, I became a financial advisor. Actually, July of 2000. And I was taught that you put money in a diversified portfolio and you dollar cost average in with every paycheck or every month, and you just kept doing that. And if you did that, your dreams and hopes would all come true because the market had been going up over the previous 100 years, is what they told me. And you know what? If you had 100 years ahead of you, they're absolutely right. But what I found out soon after becoming a financial advisor was sometimes markets go down, and sometimes markets go down in glorious fashion. And that was the dot-com bubble. And when you're 55 years old and all your money is in the best dot-com stocks, all of a sudden that money evaporated. 50% in some cases, 80% in some cases. And then it took years for it to get back to where people were prior to January of 2000. I went with it as a financial advisor. Stick with it. You're in it for the long term. This is we'll recover. That's what I was taught. And then we went through the housing market, and the housing market exploded. And I have friends today who went from basically landscape business to multi-millionaires. In some cases, 8-figure level multimillionaires, because the housing market never crashed, never had a horrible year, but then it did. And those people I knew and know today went from 8-figure net worth to bankruptcy, all in a matter of 24 months. And many of you probably know people who experienced the same thing. And people who were in the stock market experienced the same thing. But it took then another 4 to 5 years, if you're in the stock market and you just bought the S&P, to get back to even again. Well, since 2010, we've inflated the amount of money in the system by like 10 times. We're more leveraged than we were prior to the great financial crisis. And guess what? We're in the process of resetting again. Valuations on companies like the Mag 7, triple digit PE ratios, big time. This is going to be the thing forever. And yeah, AI is changing, as did the dot-com revolution. We saw changes in how we do things, how we purchase, how the consumer communicates, everything. We then went through the housing market and we supposedly got a little smarter. And then we have now in the AI boom. November of 22, we see, ChatGPT all of a sudden lit the market up and everything went higher. 7 companies represented 36 to 40% of the price movement from 2023 up until January of this year, 2025. You could just buy the Mag 7, and you made boatloads of money until it stopped. And today we're in a process of over-leveraged, over-borrowed, extended our consumer credit. Default rates in housing are starting to move back upward towards where they were during the housing crisis. And now we're seeing people look at their 401k statements and go, wait a second, I had $1 million at the first year. I was going to retire at the end of this year, but today I have 600,000. A elimination of 400,000 in an instant. That was the story that came across on the Morning Edge about 2 weeks ago. Mark shared it, a friend of his. And the problem is nobody is being straight up. Nobody's saying, if you don't have a process, you're going to get punched in the face. And that's what's happening for a lot of you out there. So today, let's go through a process. This is a chart of the S&P 500 going back to just before January of 2020. And you can see the pandemic here in the fall. You can see the drawdown from 21 to October of, say, just round it off to 2023, the first year of 23. You can see the move higher because of AI and Mag 7 and the 36% influenced by 7 companies that moved the S&P 500 higher. And then you can get to the election back in November. And then you can get to the inauguration and the start of a market downturn. When you look at this, most people will say, okay, so it goes up and goes down. Okay. But when you're middle-aged, like myself, 55 years old, or you're 65, or you're 75, or you're 80, and you're healthy, chances are you're going to live a lot longer. And if you see a drawdown, let's say you're 65 and you had a drawdown, like with the pandemic, or like the great financial crisis, you don't have time to make up that money because you're closing in on that goal, let's say retirement or just basic living needs. So what do you do here? How could I preserve capital? Well, Mark references the Paul Tudor Jones 200-day moving average. So just by using that, Paul Tudor Jones, a famous hedge fund manager, cotton trader initially, used the 200-day moving average to sidestep the great financial crisis. He said once the stock price went through the 200-day moving average, he got out. He went to cash. He went to the sidelines until the stock price, or in this case, the S&P 500, went back through the 200-day moving average. So where would the 200-day moving average line up today? There. Wow, okay. Let's go back to the pandemic. So the stock market, S&P 500 on was that February 19th, 18th, was sitting at a close of 3,370. And then by the time it broke, this S&P 500 broke through the 200-day moving average, it was March 4th, 2020. If you followed Paula Tudor Jones' approach, you would have sold out of the S&P 500 and you would have sat back and waited. And from that point, in March 4th of 2020, the S&P 500 was at 3,130. It got as low as 2,337, but then it recovered and broke back over with confirmation right around June 26, 2020. And from there, it went from 3,100 until it broke it again, broke the 200-day moving average in January 22nd, January 25th, 2022 at 4,357. That means you would have gotten back in and eliminated 500 and some odd points off the S&P 500. You would have participated. You would have sat on the sidelines. You would have slept well, and you would have known it's time to get in once it breaks to 200. It then did it again from the January, so just say 28th, broke through and tried to get it over, tried to break over again back in April of 22, and then it just continued to fall. You would have gotten out. You would have been out of this S&P 500. And until it broke above and had confirmation right around, March of 2023, you would have sidestepped all that downside. You'd have been out of it, wouldn't have to worry about it. And then went back up, dipped a little below for a couple of days, went back up, and then it went on a run from November, ChatGPT introduction 2023, all the way up until here recently, 1st of March 2025. And now we're in another process of resetting the valuations of these companies, the valuations of the S&P 500, simply using the 200-day. That's pretty easy, wouldn't you say? That's pretty understandable. You don't have to look at it every day. You don't have to dwell over it. It says if it closes below the 200, say 3 days in a row, take some off the table, preserve your capital. How much are you going to need in the next 12, 24 months? Maybe you take that off the table. Maybe you just get out totally. And then when it breaks over and confirms a testing of the 300, or the 200, like we see here in this area, then you start to put money back in. Maybe you don't go all in right away. Maybe you just dollar cost average like they tell you to. And you save yourself a lot of heartache and heartbreak. Now, I use the 62-day period. And what that tells me is that 62 days of 252 days of the year is roughly a quarter of the trading days of the year. And it's a leading indicator for me, a confirmation that things are changing. And so it's a little bit of a leader ahead of, say, the 200-day moving average. So I combine the two. And if I use that, I would have looked at back during the pandemic, and I would have been told, hey, right around late February, the S&P 500 closes below the 62 or intermediate trend line. I should start maybe being a little concerned. And maybe I should take some money off the table. And then when it broke through the 200, I've got a good pile on the sidelines. I'm not going to fully expose. And then I execute my process. In my case, I'm out. I'm out of the way. I'm not going to try to catch falling knives. I'm not going to endure because I don't have time. I'm 55. I'll be 56 this year. Next thing you know, I'll be 60. Some of you already know that feeling. Confirmation when the 62 breaks through the 200, that tells me it's time to start putting money back to work. I put money back to work, and I do the same process back in uh, January of 2000, or January 10th of 2010, or January of 22, excuse me, January of 22. I do the same process, and I'm out of the market, I'm on the sidelines, and I get back in with confirmation that my intermediate trend line, my 62 period, breaks through my 200, and I'm back in it late March of 23. And I just ride it up all the way up until late mid-February, where it breaks it again, and I start pulling money out of the market. And as it breaks through the 200, I'm out of the market, and I'm not being beaten up from early March, beginning of March to today. We're in a process of resetting the values of companies. We're resetting triple-digit PE ratios to more reasonable PE ratios. This is a process that you put on top of your fundamental analysis by using the bus portfolio ideas that Kerry researches and digs into, and then applying this technical analysis or quant model that I've used and apply it on top. You can save yourself an enormous amount of money. The biggest thing about fundamental analysis is not how much are they going to grow, how much are they going to take over their market, but more importantly, how they can endure a market downturn. So by applying the technical analysis that we're using, apply the 62 and the 200 on top of your bus portfolio ideas, you can sidestep an enormous amount of losses. And you can do this with anything. If you're just a 401k investor, and you can apply the 200 and the 62 on it, and you can look at it, say, once a month at least, or once every 2 weeks, and you can see what you should be doing. Writing down your process, making it simple, stupid, and you will preserve your hard-earned capital. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I would encourage you, join the Morning Edge, where we talk about these things, where we share ideas, where we share how to go about investing. We look at charts all the time. We look at charts from a short-term perspective, but also a long-term perspective. And we look at the whole macro picture. What is happening that would inspire, in this case, the S&P 500 to go higher? What would turn this market? We talk about that every day. And for $10 a month, it's a bargain. Click the link below if you want to subscribe, want to give it a go. There's no obligation. You don't have to sign up for a year or anything. It's month to month. It's $10. It's a latte and a half if you go to Starbucks. But what this can do for you is save you a lot of heartbreak. Stay connected. Get in our community at Best of US Investors. Join the Morning Edge for $10. Subscribe to the Gold channel or the Platinum channel. Both of those, you get access to the Morning Edge. So you get Kerry's research, you get Mark's swing trading ideas, you get education, you get the Morning Edge every Monday through Friday. It's a bargain. Go check it out. Hit the link below. I hope you are safe. I hope you preserve your capital. And I hope you take action and always live loud.